Hey, hey, you guys. So we're going to talk about relationships. Let's talk about relationships. Relationships. Isn't it all about relationships? So it seems that here on this plane and this world, good morning, good afternoon. It's relationships, right? It's like here we are in the you know when I talk about be here now, something happens in that moment that's beyond relationships, but in the practical day to day, something about relationships can often keep us from being in the moment. So I wanted to talk about that. And um, so who we're going to make a little list. who who in your life are you not getting along with? Who in your life do you still have anger towards, or fear of, a complaint about, judgment on? So we're talking about relationships. So I didn't ask permission to do this, but we're going to do it. So if you're here, you're meant to be here. You're meant to listen to this. Uh, you know, how are the relationships in your life? Oh, they're good. Bullshit. Let's talk about it for a minute. Come on. And you can make some notes too if you want to say something here. You can make notes in the comments. So who is it that you're avoiding? Who is it that you don't want to see? Who is it that you're you you know you're afraid of, or you're angry with, or you have judgment on, you or you're you know yeah. Is there anybody? Of course there is. So a couple of quick things about that. That keeps us from being present in a way. It keeps us from being available for the moment, and and it gnaws at us, and um, and it's an interesting thing that came to me in the not too distant past, that the idea of forgiveness is actually quite self-centered. Forgiveness says that somebody did somebody wrong. And if everything in the planet is exactly as it's supposed to be, nobody did anybody wrong. I know that seems like a huge jump, you know, but, because we like the idea of, I forgive you. I forgive you. Well, stop it. Just recognize that everything was needed. When you look back, as we become more aware, when we look back at all the things in our life, we see the benefit. We see the, oh my God, I'm glad that happened. Even if at the time it was difficult, even if at the time, you know, we had a lot of anger towards somebody or even hated them, you know, um, eventually, if we stay on the path, eventually we get to a place where we're like, wow, thank you. So it's beyond forgiveness. It's thank you. But for now, let's just look at, you know, whoever it is, an ex. I just want to share where this came from today. I have been married a couple of times, and wonderful ladies, and one of the ladies that I was married to, Sheila, called this morning, and we talked for 45 minutes. She didn't have any reason to call. She just called. And we talked for about 45 minutes. It was beautiful. And we don't have um, hmm, I don't think we do anyway. I'm going to look a little deeper. I don't think there's anything between us. I'm not angry with her. I don't have any, I'm happy when she calls. It's like, oh, hi. You know, we have a relationship that's built on, you know, mutual respect and caring. We have a son who we both love, and you know, who's an adult, but still we both love him, and yeah. So I'm just sharing this with you, that relationships. Where are you not clean? Do you want to look at that? Where are you not clean in your relationships? The other little piece of this is that the judgment we have on others, we also have on ourselves, because who are they but us? That's another jump, but still. So just look at it. You know, in the 12-step world, we do an inventory actually of our relationships, because that's where it counts. So we do an inventory of our relationships, and we look at where we had been resentful or angry, judgmental, where we've been fearful, right? Where we acted selfishly in our relationships, and and also our relationships with institutions, and you know, traditions and cultures and everything. You know, where had we been angry? Where had we been fearful? Because our anger and our fear keeps us small. How is that what you want? Keep me small. You know, we want to hang on to them. It becomes our identity. You know, spend our whole life being mad at somebody. You know, and then wonder why we got cancer. You know, wonder why we're sick, because we're holding on to this stuff. You know, so I'm here to just share with you. Let's, you know, for goodness sakes, I was going to say the F word. Well, whatever. Fuck, just let it go. You know. So make a list. This is how it starts. You make a list, all the names, you know, and be prepared to just let go, and maybe say a prayer as we're making the list, to be shown all of the people, and all of the ideas that we're against, you know, maybe a whole culture we're against. Maybe we're friggin' racist, you know, and for some reason we don't even know. And so put that on there. Often that comes out of fear. You know, racism comes out of fear, you know, and you know, maybe we're afraid of people that we think are smarter than us, you know, and it comes out of the idea that maybe we think we're not very smart. But fear again, so much fear. So make a list. We're going to help set you free. This is a freedom exercise. It really is. And so anybody want to be free? Aha. So Shelley says, I'm currently avoiding some narcissistic people who are in my life at present, but feel guilty. So, you know, now, because we let go of our judgment, doesn't mean that we have to hang out with them. doesn't You know, it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, that we have to hang out with them. But let's say that um, you know, with the narcissism that you're speaking of, that possibly you have some of that in you. So, you know, your prayer could be to help see yourself. This is a, you know, the game I love. I call it the game of know thyself. You know, so often the stuff that we don't want to see in others, we have in ourselves. You know, at, to greater or lesser degrees. Not many people want to hear that though. You know, but to greater or lesser degrees. So, you know, as we let go of our judgment on them, we also let go of our judgment on ourselves. So, you know, it is the path to freedom. And we're here to 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 be free, you know, and then, you know, as we move through and recognize and pray about and let go of, you know, and find a place in our hearts of gratitude for everything. Old Uncle Joe, you know, who, you know, was inappropriate with you when you were 10, you know, you know, when we let go of that, we get free, you know, more than just to forgive old Uncle Joe, but to actually find compassion, you know, and to see that, you know, he wasn't well, you know. Many of us are here, you know, living in fear and living in, you know, And so I'm not excusing anybody's activity or their crime against the world in a way. I'm just suggesting that lots of times that people that we're angry with are not well, and so what heals the not wellness is not anger but love and compassion and understanding, and even if it's from a distance, and then we're not holding them in an old place, and we're not holding ourselves in an old place. So this is like a mini step 4, step 5, you know. I do a lot of step 5s, by the way, if anybody's interested, where we just talk about, some of the stuff we've been holding on to, and we can get free of it. It's like, it's gone, you know, and it melts. Yeah, that's right. So relationships, baby, they hold the key in many ways to our own freedom. Our own freedom. So no matter what's happened, what we perceive that somebody did, what we think our mother did or our dad did, or just we're going to find a place in our hearts of healing and surrender. Yeah. Tracy says 2021 focus is to let it be, let it go. Not trying so hard to fit in with people, just have no place in their lives. Be okay with it. Yes. And if that's the way it is, I mean, the beautiful thing about life is that it's moving, you know. All I'm talking about is to let go of any of attachments, sometimes for me, like I've had best friends. Have you ever had a best friend? Like my bestest friend. Somebody was your best friend, and then something happened that, maybe nothing happened, but it just moved because everything out here is moving, things that we had, stuff, friends, loves, they come and they go. It's a moving world, and I've sometimes thought, wow, I miss them, and even missing them is um, is in a way not accepting the moment. So just, to think of them, and I can think of, one fella, honest to gosh, my best buddy when I was growing up, Greg Conrad. Loved the guy, just loved the guy, and he was really, helped me as a young teenager. I was pretty angry and rebellious, and Greg was very stable, and miss him. Comes, this is like 50 years later, and I miss the guy. And to remember not to hold him in any way, just to let that go. So those things, just to be conscious of, that we can hold people in an old place, um, and there's always going to be new people to explore and to see ourselves through, no matter where we go, unless we lock ourselves in a cave, But why would we do that? Because if we lock ourselves in the cave, we're locking ourselves in the cave with those people that maybe we still have energy with. So, to free ourselves and then to be open moment to moment to whatever depth in new relatings want to go to, to be free of expectation and free of fear, and sometimes we have to pray about that. There's a prayer in the 12 steps, and it says, the fear prayer is amazing. It's in the work that we're doing in step 5, and it really is. It talks about fear. Oh my gosh, but it says, um, we ask him to remove our fear. Pretty simple prayer. Pretty simple prayer. Because what happens is that, we project what, how the pain that we might have had in separation or unmet expectations in the past into the future, and so we're afraid to actually connect with people, and then we build defense mechanisms. Sometimes we eat and eat and eat, and because we're just building this big body to defend us, like our toll talks about the pain body, and it's all fear based, and because we don't actually want to be that close to anybody. We're afraid. So we ask God to remove our fear, however you see that, universal intelligence. Remove our fear and direct our attention to what He'd have us be. That's it. So everything in the 12 steps, by the way, is about us serving. How can I help? How can I make a difference? Where can I be of service to others, And one of the greatest services we can be to the people in our past and in our lives is to let go of anger, judgment, fear, even guilt and shame around them in any way, to let go of that, because that holds them in an old place too. So that, the recipe to freedom is really practical. It really is. So that's my thought for today, and thank you for your comments, Tracy and Shelley, and love you guys. Um, it's real, isn't it? You know, it's really real. We're we're in it, but it's practical. And one of the beautiful things about the 12-step program is it's practical. Um, it's a practical program for living on the path to freedom. On the path to freedom, it really is. It if you've really gone into it, you know that. If you've really gone into it, you know that. It's not about knowing the steps. It's about, practicing them and doing them. It's like practicing anything. You know, if you're um, an artist, you know, sometimes inspiration comes after, 1,000 hours of working in, in your art. And the same thing happens with recovery and with awakening. It comes after doing the work. We don't even know what's happening, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm free. I'm free. I finally let go of my fear and my anger. So it's practical. Love you guys. I put these up afterwards on YouTube, and I'm going to ask again and again and again, if you don't mind, if you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm having some fun with it. It's like a project for me. I love doing this, but no buts. I love doing this, and I'm doing it on YouTube. And if you go there and you subscribe and you watch some of the videos on YouTube, it helps with the algorithms and stuff. So I'm asking for that. It would be a way of supporting. And I have a kind of a goal to build this YouTube channel, and maybe be able to do this and pay the bills that way, and to carry this message. I have no control over any of that. I really don't know where this is going, and it seems like that's a path, and so yeah. So it would be helpful if you shared the YouTube videos, and yeah. Okay, I'm going to read from this thing that I read from daily, the 24-hour day book. And we're starting, here we are, day 2 of the new year in this book. And this book was written by a gentleman in the 40s and published in the 50s. And so sometimes I have to reword it a little, because, some of his stuff is certainly a little, it's totally male centered. So, I reword it to include everybody, and it could even be some really older ideas. Sometimes he's quite dualistic and right and wrong and good and bad, and so I help him with that a little bit. And a lot of times he's just about the recovery from the addiction of drinking or using, and when of course we have to be free of drugs and alcohol, but basically my message is to how to be free in each moment, how to be free in each moment, and to experience life in its fullest. And I think not drinking or not using is kind of the lowest bar in recovery. We start to discover other things that we've been addicted to. Although if we don't get the lowest bar, we don't get the rest of it either. It doesn't we don't get, nobody gets, I guess, that we don't have it to share. Okay, so January 22nd, thought for the day. What makes the 12-step program or AA or NA or CA work? The first thing is to have a revulsion against myself and my way of living. So yes, we need to be reasonably desperate, to get to change. We've had enough of waking up hungover, waking up in jail, or waking up, in somebody else's bed. We've had enough, and we're, disgraced and desperate and revulsion, he calls it. Then I must admit, he says, that I was helpless, that alcohol had me licked. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, food, whatever the addiction is, then I must admit that I was helpless, that alcohol had me licked. I couldn't do anything about it. The next thing is to be honest, is to honestly want to quit the old life. Yes. It says half measures avail us nothing. Half measures avail us nothing. We had to be willing to let go. Then I must surrender my life to a higher power. Yes, a higher power. God as I understand him. Often my example of a higher power is love. Love is the higher power. Do we believe in love? Do we personally know love? Everybody does. And they recognize that love is a power greater than them. So that can be the higher power. Then I must surrender my life to a higher power. But my drinking problem, it says, my drinking problems in his hands and leave it there. After these things are done, I should attend meetings regularly for fellowship and sharing. I should also help other alcoholics. I should also help other alcoholics. Am I doing these things? So this is a mini piece of the program, the 12-step recovery program he's talking about. I'm reading from this 24-hour day book. I read it every day here on Facebook and also on YouTube. Meditation for the day. Man, he said, is so made that he can only carry the weight of a 24 hours, no more. Directly, he weighs himself down with the years behind and the days ahead. His back breaks. God or higher power has promised to help you with the burdens of the day only. If you are foolish enough to carry again that burden of the past and carry it, then indeed to gather again and carry the burden of the past and carry it, then indeed you cannot expect God to help you bear it. So forget that which lies behind you and breathe in the blessings of each new day. And that's just what I was talking about. If we're carrying an anger or resentment towards anybody from the past, we're still living in the past. And this is the practicalness of just letting it go, finding love in our hearts. We don't get love. We are love. We are love. So waiting for somebody to do something to help us see who we are. So we are love. You are love. You are love. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may realize that, for good or bad, past days have ended. I pray that I may face each new day, the coming 24 hours, with hope, courage, love, compassion. Okay, you guys. Thank you. We're going to meditate a little bit. Now, I do this little meditation every day just to, support you and me in the process. When we drop in to the moment, into now, and experience the beautiful oneness of the moment, the oneness of meditation, It becomes a practice. Again, like anything. We do this for a bit. I can't say that we get good at it. It just becomes more real for us. It's always been there. This thing that we experience in meditation has always been there, right? It is. Who do you experience in meditation? The one. You. You are the one. You are that. I love what Bill Wilson said in We Agnostics. God either is or he isn't. Either he's everything or he's nothing. What is our choice to be? So if he's everything, he is you. He is you. And how do we, gain that conscious connection, that conscious knowing of that? Meditation is one way to drop into this moment. So we clear away the wreckage of the past, which we just talked about. And then we drop into an experience. It's like, holy Toledo. And that knowingness, that oneness. Okay, you ready? So just close your eyes. Join me. I'd love it if you join me. Wow. Just use the breath. Use the breath. Use your breath. This breath. The breath in the body. To bring you into the moment. To bring you into now. And in this moment, in this breath, there's only now. You're going to let go of all thoughts, all plans, and all desires. Be here now. Be here now. Yeah. So just know that you're not your thoughts. You are not your body. The you that we experience beyond the traditional you, the you that you thought you were, the story of you, the experiences of you, the you that can hardly be described, is the you that we come to know in meditation, the you that we come to know in looking beyond our fears, beyond our thinking mind, beyond what we'll call ego, is the you of love. Your natural state is love, compassion, freedom, acceptance. So we let go of thought. Can you see, are you past that, into this space of emptiness, space of stillness. Space without form. And just come back when you're ready. Thank you. You know, if you fall asleep, it happens. Just when you come back, you come back. It's all a practice. Can't do it wrong. Can't do it right. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for joining me today and being there for that meditation. It was beautiful. So make a list. Have a look at your relationships. We can talk tomorrow a little bit more about what to do with the list. All right. Love you guys. Thanks.